Hello and welcome to Fantasy Friendship. I'm your host, Stephen Alonich. Alongside today, my lovely wife, Alexa Texa, and my lovely friend, Jake Anderson. Both of you, thank you for joining today.
Thanks for having us.
We'll explain Alexa Texa at the end. That's fine.
I am glad to be joined on this show by Alexis Texas. Alexa, your lovely wife.
Lovely wife, Alexa Texa.
Yep, here I am.
And today we are talking about why I am married to my lovely wife. It is my proposal story that involved a high-speed chase. It involved Jake doing the high-speed chase, and it involved Alexa being chased at a high speed. I think I should probably start, since I'm the one that did the actual proposal, explain my thought process and why the hell I would go through with that, and my thoughts during the actual proposal. Sound good?
Yeah.
As most people know, my dad's facing a very severe illness. Because of that, my sister and her then boyfriend discussed getting married so he'd be around to see it. During that same time, I was thinking a very similar thing. I wrote my dad a letter after we got a pretty heavy diagnosis, and the letter indicated, I intend to marry Alexa, and I'm thankful for all that you've given her, and I'm so happy that you guys are close, and no matter what happens, you'll have a seat at that wedding. I thought after writing that, if I intend to marry her, why don't I just do it? Why am I waiting? I wasn't really dragging my feet. We're only about a year and a half into dating, but it was my plan. When my sister told me that she was getting married so Dad could be there, I started really thinking about it, and I was probably acting weird that day, and we'll get into that a little later because you definitely noticed it, Alexa. I called my sister and was like, hey, I know that we both want our own days, our own moments, but I've been thinking about the same thing, and what if we made it a double wedding? And my sister agreed. She's like, yeah, I would want my own moment. I don't really want to share my wedding day with my brother. It's a kind of weird thing, especially before knowing how it would turn out. But we agreed that it was a moment that both of us needed, and it would be unfair if one of us got it, not the other one. Actually, you want to talk about how I was acting that day? Because that's the Saturday. We proposed on Sunday. On Saturday, you were freaking out.
Yeah. So hi, I'm the lovely wife, Alexa. You can laugh, Jake. It's fine. I'm funny. So yeah, that Saturday, the 2 days before were just really heavy and it was difficult. But on Saturday, he told me that his sister Jordan, her then boyfriend Darren, were planning on getting married in a few weeks. And I thought, wow, that's really crazy, but also that's amazing. They're a perfect couple, whatever. And Steven then...
They're a perfect couple, whatever. That's exactly what you want to hear about someone being married.
Recently, too.
Whatever. They're just a great couple.
They're so fantastic.
They're whatever.
You meant what I knew. Listen. Anyways, so they're a great couple. They hadn't been together for that long, but he was a really nice guy. He seemed like on their first date he helped move mattresses for your dad.
Okay, this isn't the Hit on Darren podcast.
Listen, I'm just saying they're a good...
Oh, we're sharing great Darren stories? Oh,
yeah.
Man. Oh, I didn't come prepared.
I'm leaving. Anyways, so when you told me that, I felt bad because I'm a few years older than you. I'm not finished with college. We hadn't been together we've been together for
about a year and a half.
a good amount.
Over a year and a half.
I felt like that was probably a good amount of time that people usually propose to their significant others. Maybe, I don't know. That's just what it seems like. But
from experience, that's when you propose to people.
Anyways, so, and after I asked you, I said, well, how does that make you feel? And you said, it makes me feel jealous. And then you're just silent. And then I felt terrible because what am I going to do? And then you started pacing back and forth in the house. And then you went in the kitchen. It was like you were in a music video, just looked out the window in the kitchen. Really? It was very, I remember it because I was like, what the hell is he doing?
This stream is very 90s.
Grunge.
Was it raining that Saturday?
No, it was a sunny day.
Was Nirvana on?
No. But I'm pretty sure Jerry Springer was on, knowing you. That was what was on.
Okay.
So,
which is a great marriage setting.
It is. Yeah. It's us. And so then you keep pacing back and forth, and I'm just drinking my tea or whatever, and then you come in and you tell me, I'm going to go for a drive. And immediately something clicked because I'm like, you don't go for drives. That's just when you are with someone for a while and you're with them every day, you start to pick up on things. You notice like, oh, that's not normal. So once
Steven just is not normal. So.
It's very true.
Fair.
But that was especially abnormal. So I wasn't really thinking anything like proposing at the time. And then I don't want to make it seem like we're not affectionate towards each other. We are. It's just there are moments. We pick and choose. And so when he left, he's just like, I love you. And he kissed me.
What?
I know. Weird,
Was
right?
this the first time he told you I love you?
Yeah.
Had he
year and a
never
half
kissed you before?
later.
First time I kissed you?
That was the first time I kissed anybody.
Wow.
So he left, and then
landmark weekend.
Yeah, first kiss.
the weekend
First
of
love,
many
first
firsts.
proposal,
So after he left, that's when it clicked. I'm like, oh my God. And I was home with Slugger and the other dogs, and I'm like screaming at the dogs first, like, what the fuck do I do? What if he asks me? So then I called my mom first, which apparently
That's also what you want to hear. What the fuck do I do?
Let's also look at Slugger's standpoint here. You're just screaming at him. Poor dog.
He's fine. Listen, everything's okay now. We're married. We love each other. And so I called my mom, and apparently at the time you had already called her by then, and you had already asked her for permission. And I'm honestly very shocked that she kept it under wraps because that woman can keep no secrets.
She's my family.
This is Grill Alexa podcast? Anyways, so I asked her, she's like, what are you going to say? And I'm like, well, I'm going to say yes, but oh my God, this is a lot to take in. Before I met you, I honestly never thought that I would get married. I never had that preconceived notion or a fantasy of what it would be.
She had turned down multiple other proposals.
Many
she knows how proposals go.
Many.
She was on The Bachelorette.
I'm offended. I'm very offended. And then I call my friends, text them, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure he's going to propose. And then I did the one thing I never thought I would do, and I tried to check your location on Snapchat.
I almost turned it off. Thinking you might do that.
This is just a weekend of sketchy behavior.
Very.
Yeah.
Do you guys trust each other? I'm going for a drive. Oh, what is he doing? Snapchat location. Where's he at?
She was right.
I was right, because that's the thing. He doesn't just go for Sunday drives. He doesn't, Saturday. It was Saturday,
Yeah.
what have you.
You're
He doesn't just go for weekend drives. So my friends are just like, oh my God, well, they're like, it's been a year and a half. It could happen. I said, I know it can happen. That's why I'm calling you, because I think it is going to happen. So then he finally comes home, and nothing happens. And then later that night, still nothing. So I text my friends, and I said, disregard. It didn't happen. So then Sunday, I go to work. I'm a nursing assistant. So I went there at like 6 a.m. and it was just a really bad day. And I hadn't thought about it anymore. And I went home for lunch. We were living with his dad and his stepmom at the time, and he was there. I don't think anything really weird was happening. I think I was just still in a bad mood from work. So I wasn't really, I don't know. I just wasn't paying attention to anything.
I think this is about where I
This is where we switched to Jake.
Ooh!
I think. What?
I'm sorry. This is my third one.
So about noon on that Sunday, I get a call from Steven. Steven and I, we don't call each other very often. When he calls, I know to pick up because it's usually a life or death situation.
A lot of those.
I mean, as we're going to get to on this podcast, like you have multiple life or death stories.
True.
So I pick up and he's like, what are you doing today? And I had no plans. It was a lazy Sunday. I was going to hang with my girlfriend and play video games. And he's like, you want to help me propose to Alexa? I'm like, well, yeah, I'm surprised, you haven't done this already.
This is the guy who's been dating his girlfriend for 4 years?
Almost 5.
Almost 5 years. All right.
We have our own plan. But no, this isn't the Grill Jake podcast either.
Okay.
But no, you said it before we got on the podcast, but I wasn't surprised because I knew it was coming. And, as you said, with everything going on, it made sense.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, yeah, I'm just going to grab some Jimmy John's and we'll come and pick you up. And so I pick him up and I'm like, what's your plan? Knowing Steven, I figured he had some grand, elaborate, nothing could possibly go wrong here plan of just Prince Charming, just basically just some elaborate 20-minute proposal plan here.
And that's kind of my personality. Usually I have a backup plan for the backup plan. This time I didn't.
No, it was we're going to drive to her work, Papillion Manor, sit in the parking lot, and wait until she comes out, and then I'll run up to her car. Because she won't recognize your car. And you have tinted windows. She won't see us. And I'm like, okay, all this is true. All this makes sense. Yeah, sure. This is a great plan. We'll go along with it. So we get to her work. I think she got off about 2 p.m. We get there like 1:30. And so we have enough time to sit there in the parking lot and BS. And we're talking about video games we played recently. This was right around when the new Pokemon came out, so we were talking about that. We were talking about GTA. And which sparks the great idea of, what if we pull out in front of her car as she's trying to leave this parking lot?
And this is your idea.
It was
Make
my
that
idea.
very clear.
It was my idea. But we had also joked while sitting there that, like, it's Steven. Like, it wouldn't be a Steven plan if something didn't go wrong. And so I'm like, okay, well, you running up to her car, like, that's not super memorable. Like, oh, wow, here's me on a knee outside your car door.
Yeah, surprising, not a good story.
Yeah. Surprising. And I'm sitting here in this parking lot. I'm like, this is kind of sketchy, just sitting in a nursing home parking lot for 45 minutes. And so we're like, okay, yeah, no, nothing could possibly go wrong. Then you have the shock of her getting out of the car and screaming, oh, why'd this car pull out in front of me? And then, bam, Steven on a knee with a ring box. I've thought about this day for so long,
Almost 24 hours at that point, yeah.
We decide nothing could possibly go wrong here. It, of course, goes horribly wrong. Because at the same time that Alexa is leaving, her coworker is leaving.
Who would have thought that more than one person gets off at one time? No one could have planned for that.
Work shifts. How do they? How?
And we should say, as parking lot, there's a one-way out.
Yep.
There's not. They can't go around the car. If you block it, it's blocked.
Right. So we're sitting there and we're like, what do we do? Well, just still pull in front of it. We'll beat the other car. No, they both back up at the same time. And so here I'm sitting in front of Alexa's car, and then the other car is behind Alexa. And so I'm like, well, I gotta back up. Like this isn't gonna work this way because the other coworker can't go around. So I'd see Alexa cursing and banging the steering wheel and, hyperventilating.
Flipping us off, probably.
It was... No, I don't think
Right
I
now,
flipped
license
you
plate
off.
number to find you later.
I definitely said some choice words.
Keep in mind, at this point, Alexa and I knew each other. Like, even though she thought my name was Matt, she had no idea what my car looked like. She had no reason to suspect anything. Knowing that she thought I was Matt for the longest time, I was like, how can I mess with this poor girl?
Mind you, I called him Matt after working like 4 12s in a row, and I was really tired. I have known him for 2 years, almost 2 years at that point. I know his name is Jake now. Everything's fine. Continue.
As the plan goes horribly wrong, I'm like, okay, how can I turn this around? I want this to still be memorable for Steven. Steven is counting on me here. But also, how can I mess with this poor girl?
Fair. That's how I'd like it.
Yes. I was like, Steven wants this to be a memorable thing. And Steven's in the passenger seat. And he's saying, should I call her? I'm like, no, that's not memorable. That's not a great story. How'd you propose? We blocked her in a parking lot and then I called her and had her pull over. That's not what you tell your kids. That's not Ted Mosby on How I Met Your Mother. So I'm like, lean back in your seat. I have tinted windows. She won't see you. I'll pull up next to her. I'll catch her. And Steven likes to say that I was going 60, 70 miles an hour, and I was more like 40. And here's what's going through my head. Steven is counting on me. I need to save this. This went horribly wrong. We need to salvage this. So I catch up to her at one point, but I can't get her attention because of traffic. And I have my window rolled down at this point. Finally, I get up next to her. And And I'm thinking as I'm trying to catch her in traffic, I'm like, how do I get her attention? What do I say? And in all my thinking, the moment of brilliance is yelling, "Hey!" She says, "What?"
Note that I'm ducked down the passenger seat right now, so
Oh, yeah.
she can't see me through Jake's window.
Yeah.
I'm leaned all the way back and covering my face. She has no idea I'm there.
She at first just sees a random person, then I assume recognizes me. Maybe. She's nodding.
I did.
So I tell her to pull over. She says, "Why?" And
And screams it. It's, pull over!
yeah.
Why?
And in the non-sketchiest thing I can say possible, I say, "Because I said so." So she assumes to then follow us into a church parking lot.
My wife someday will be kidnapped on her very easily. Some stranger, hey, pull over. All right. You convinced me.
You cut me off in a parking lot, and then you yell at me to pull over.
And he drove 50 and a 25, screamed at me through the window, caught me twice. You know, you convinced me. You're really out to do something. So let me pull over and see what you want.
And I see the anguish on this poor girl's face. Poor Alexa. The confusion as she gets out of the car, I get out because Steven had asked me to take photos and video. And I'm like, okay, well, I got to be outside. I can't just sit and wait in the car. And then, like, is he proposing yet? Is he doing this? What's going on? And then my girlfriend who's in the back seat also gets out. And I just watch Alexa's face just, like, become so just contorted in confusion. And I'm just like, no, point Steven, look at him. And he's trying to get her attention. He's holding her hands in his and is starting to go, "Alexa," and she's just like, "What are you doing here?"
And she's looking away from me.
Yeah.
She's not looking at me. She's looking at Jake, asking what he's doing there. I'm down on one knee, holding her hands, trying to start my spiel.
No. You were not down on one
I
knee
was.
at that point. You were holding my hand, yes. Okay, you've been giving me crap for this for the last 5-6 months, however long it's been. That is a lot.
3.
Put yourself in my position and imagine you're the girl being proposed to. That's a
dream come
lot
true.
to that's
Imagine
a lot
you're the
to
girl
take
being
in.
kidnapped.
Yes,
Imagine
exactly.
you're the guy having to propose and the person you're proposing to doesn't care enough to even look at you.
That's baloney. I definitely care because I eventually looked at you. I'm just saying, at first there was still a lot to take in.
And that was
chased.
Jake.
I was chased. I didn't know it was Jake at first. All right.
You were looking
All
at
right.
Jake.
Here. When everything first happened, obviously when Jake finally said, "Hey, pull over," I knew it was Jake. And when he got out of the car, I still knew it was Jake. Listen, here's what happened.
What?
Going back to my side. All right. So when you're cornering me, or I'm sorry, just like, I don't know, blocking me from getting out of the parking lot, I assume at first that it's just a random dingus in the parking lot at the facility. So I thought it was grandpa that he was there to visit. And then I got scared when I looked in the back and I saw that this car was following me. It's black, the windows are tinted, I have no idea who's in it. And so yes, the area that I work in is in a residential area, so it's about 25 miles per hour, and then it goes up 35, 45. It's a speed trap. So anyways, so this car is definitely going more than 25, as I've added before. My heart is beating super fast. And then when this car finally pulls up next to me and I have my window down, when I hear, "Hey," really loud and very intimidating, my heart sank because I was like, oh my God, this is how I go.
Like I said, it was a moment of brilliance.
And then when I saw that it was Jake, I was like, oh, that old chestnut right there. Yeah.
Chestnut?
Yeah. I don't know.
That's not.
Listen, it was the first thing that popped in my head. It's fine. Anyways. So then I was confused why you were following me or why you're just, I don't know, why you were messing with me because we'd seen you like a week before that at the hockey game that
Yeah, we
we
went to a hockey game together.
Yeah. So it's like, well, like, we just saw each other. So I'm like, I don't know. And then when you told me to pull over, I was just like, to just like chit chat for a minute. I don't like, I'd be fine with that, but that's also it's across the street from a church parking lot. Anna runs us. So I was like, well, this is an odd place to do it. I feel like we could easily just go over to his house at any time and
Did you ever wonder, as you're telling this part right now, a question popped in my head.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever wonder how I knew where you worked and what time you got off?
Yeah, I did. So, like what I was saying about, like, oh, I just figured, like, this person was visiting their grandma and grandpa. I thought maybe for a minute that, like, you had a grandparent that was there and I just didn't know about it. And I thought, like, it was just a coincidence that I was leaving at the same time you were leaving. That's what I figured. I'm glad you asked because I've been holding that in forever. I'm sorry if I didn't pay attention to you right away, but that was a lot to take in like 5 minutes
And
of
you
me
decided
getting
to
off
take
of a
in
long...
Not me. That's fine.
I did take you. I'm married to you. I took everything in, okay?
I made it so memorable I almost stole your moment.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's true.
But what I had written down was Alexa.
And he included a note on there to clear his throat. Alexa, let me make my voice deeper.
Alexa. I know you saw us coming. I know it isn't the way either of us exactly pictured in our heads. I know I want to spend the rest of my life with you. I know you feel the same about me. There's a lot we both want to accomplish. You going back to school, me getting home. But there's no reason we can't accomplish those things together. When I'm with you, I feel comfortable and safe. You have been with me and kept me stable through what's easily the hardest time of my life. And then I didn't finish writing it, actually. So
What a cliffhanger.
it just kind of cut off there, and I must have winged it. We just watched the video.
You can tell this proposal inspired your vows.
The proposal I didn't get to say all of, or like,
Yeah.
okay.
There are parts in there that I remember contributing to your vows.
I don't know what I said in the vows.
Yeah, those aren't
That's a
memorable.
lie. You wrote them down.
The day of.
And then practiced on all of your groomsmen.
I did. That's a story from the day. We'll venture the wedding podcast. a wedding planned in 30 days with my sister and her fiance, double wedding. Crazy. Crazy it happened. But another day, listeners. Another day. That was what I had written down. What I actually got to say wasn't quite the same. You know, I didn't
It's
memorize
pretty
it because I
close.
was writing it in the car as Jake picked me up.
When I was driving a lot more sanely.
The speed limit.
I was talking
yeah.
when we were talking about GTA, I was also writing down my proposal.
When you were talking about what?
GTA.
We were sitting in the parking lot waiting for you to come out. And I said, "So you know what you're gonna say?" Most of it.
And apparently I never finished. I didn't
Fif-
realize.
15 minutes away from doing it. Yeah, generally. Yeah, I thought about it.
The situation happened really fast.
I thought he was gonna. I was like, that was my opening for like, yeah, practice, like talk it out, so you're you're comfortable with what you're gonna say, make it seem natural. General idea. I'll just wing it.
Yeah, it worked. I said yeah.
Yeah.
So I actually lied earlier. I was not on one knee right away.
We watched the
I was holding your
video,
hands.
so I figure we should do some instant takeaways from the video.
Very windy that day.
It
I remember
was.
that. When
I
I heard
don't-
the wind on the phone. I was like, oh yeah, it was crazy windy.
I didn't remember that.
It was early February, so it...
Had a dramatic effect.
It did.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
It was cold. I remember that.
We're all in our coats.
Alexa was bawling.
Actually, the exact words, I think, we could pick out some of the words from the video because it was really windy, so the phone didn't pick them all up. But I said, Alexa, you deserve a much better proposal than this. And I have written down, I transcribed what we could. It says,
That was me crying in the video. I'm a crier. I don't know why I gasped when you got down on your knee because I clearly knew it was coming. Otherwise, I would have been what if you had just stopped there and didn't propose to me? What if you just said all of that and then just like, well, see you at home?
That would also be a very Steven thing,
oh, for sure.
though.
Yeah.
Like
To
one-
recruit a friend,
Yeah.
have them chase you after work, and then just
and not chicken out. Like, it isn't like
No.
a chicken out thing. It's I planned the whole thing just
Yeah.
to not propose.
blue ball
As
the
a-
proposal.
Yeah.
See, it's a very Steven and friend thing to do, to tootle around and just do random stuff
Yeah.
like that.
That's
So,
why we have this
and also
podcast.
when I did see you get out of the car, I still didn't think that, oh, he's going to propose. I thought that because I noticed that you had I knew you were gonna go get your hair cut that day and then, shave your beard. So I was just like, I was like, maybe he coerced Jake into taking him and then they just hung out for the day or something.
Yeah, when Jake and I hang out, we go watch me get my hair cut.
Yeah, why not?
I actually cut his hair for him that day.
Listen, there was a lot happening, and that was just what my mind was running
That's
to.
embarrassing.
Okay?
I will say, looking back at it, my favorite part of that proposal. I just witnessed a very marriage moment. My favorite part of that video and that day, that moment, was Alexa through sobbing. I fucking knew it.
And we'll play that part. That part's pretty audible in the video. So I'll make sure that somehow finds a way when I edit through this. That's going to get in this.
I fucking knew it! I knew it! You lied to me!
I did fucking know it. Because you had been acting weird, and then with everything with your sister and with Darren, I thought, well, it's coming. So I knew it.
Anyway, after you said, I said, during a proposal, mind you, I said, well, I don't know what that was. And then continue my proposal. So I finish my proposal. You say, I guess so. Jake is over there weeping at the beauty of the proposal.
Yeah.
Weeping.
Ashley has now driven the car away. We're all by ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And Steven's imagination has taken hold of this podcast.
Alexa's weeping. She says yes. I'm pretty stoked. Probably a good word for it. I was like, oh boy, getting married. We
took some photos.
Yeah.
Ash and I drove off, left you two standing awkwardly out in the cold, and laughed the whole way home at the GTA proposal.
Did you laugh at? Okay, good. I was wondering what your guys' is like after.
Our instant reaction was only Steven.
Yeah, that sounds about right. We actually, I don't think we told my dad and stepmom right away. My mom knew it was coming.
My mom knew it was
Your mom knew it was coming. We didn't tell my dad and stepmom right away because I promised my sister that she could tell him first. And that night, Darren was going to ask his permission to marry Jordan, even though they had already kind of agreed to get married. He never proposed. He didn't propose for another 3 weeks. 2-3 weeks, yeah.
That's a while.
But that one, that's actually, I'm going to get them on for that sometime because that was a funny proposal because somehow he had to surprise her even though she knew it was coming because she talked to him about getting married. Mm-hmm. So that one's fun. But Darren asked my dad for permission that night. Dad always says yes. And then I think it was the next day I tell my dad. Was that next day?
So it was, you're right, they did tell them before we told them. But it was that Saturday night, but you proposed to me that Sunday afternoon.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so it was Sunday night that I...
Yeah.
Okay. Sunday night, I tell my dad, hey, you know how Jordan and Dan are going to get married? Dad says, yeah. And I said, well, it's going to be a double wedding. And Alexa shows her ring. And my dad says, are you serious? Not, oh my God, awesome. Not, fantastic. I love you guys, the couple. Not, woo, stoked about that one. It was, are you serious?
Linda was excited. His stepmom was very excited about it. She was.
And Dad was excited. He just doesn't.
You two are very similar. When you are excited about something, you don't go. You've never once gone like, woohoo! You know, you're just our first date, for example, I tell him to kiss me, and he goes, ugh, fine. So, it not tells you anything about their...
I still do that for what it's worth.
I was thinking about that earlier.
Yeah.
I said, he still does that. He really threw all of his cards out on the table our first date. He's been honest except in our first date, he told me he didn't have a belly button.
And she believed me.
No, I didn't believe you.
Oh, you did.
That's for another podcast, your belly button. But, yeah, so...
So, we know all of our reactions to the proposal. Mm-hmm. What was the general reaction of both of your parents, any friends, extended family you told?
Okay, my dad told you, stepmom told you, mom was pretty emotional about it naturally.
No, to the story of the proposal.
Oh boy, I should pull up the Facebook post.
So my Facebook post that I made was after the car chase, I said yes. which leads to many questions. And I'm glad I did it that way. But no one ever commented like, what do you mean? What do you mean car chase? It was, the day after when everyone's just like, what are you talking about? What do you mean car chase? Like, are you okay? Should I be worried about you? Then I told them the story and they're just like, oh, that's really cute. That's super unique. And then my mom and then some of my best friend Amber said, yeah, that seems about right.
I had a pretty similar reaction from my friends. It was, what was it early in this podcast? Like, oh, it was a Steven story? Yeah, that's about what happened. Mm-hmm. This is a guy that stole a pizza from a sidewalk bench and ate it. He's not going to go. We're just teasing the future podcast in this one. We have a future wedding one to do. More importantly, we have a future pizza story to do about the weird pizzas I've had.
There's a reason I will never share a pizza with you.
We've shared pizza several times, Jake. Damn it. But yeah, I think everyone enjoyed the story. It was a good story. It was a good proposal. A lot of people just have the cliche drop to a knee in a romantic setting. Pretty obvious proposal. Ours was fun because it was A, expected, but also B, unexpected. Mm-hmm. So I still managed to catch you off guard. I got a friend involved who ended up being a part of it and his girlfriend, and they had to go through some crazy maneuvers in order to accomplish it. Mm-hmm. But they were dedicated to their craft. They promised they would help. And they're like, nope, I don't care what it takes. High-speed chase, I'm doing this.
That was pretty cool. You guys took your Sunday to help out.
Yeah, that's really a pretty important... that is the most important part of the story, is that Jake was willing to go out of his way and then some in order to... Like, we could have gotten pulled over and this whole thing would have been a mess. Or it would have been even more nonsense. We would have told the officer, like, oh, hey, we're trying to do a proposal. And he'd be like, all right, I'll pull her over. And we'll do something like that.
Oh, my gosh.
But that would have been great. Which, your sister and her husband are actually in law enforcement. Yeah. So... we could have pulled some strings.
We probably could have.
Oh.
That would have been a thing. Yeah, next time.
Next time you propose to me or next time you propose to someone else?
Or for my proposal, because the chances Ash listens to this podcast are...
Not 30 minutes in. No way 30 minutes in she'll listen to this podcast. Ashley, if you are 30 minutes in this podcast and you are still listening without Jake egging you on, I will bring her a brisk raspberry tea. And we'll find out if she ever gets this far into the podcast that way.
What if I encourage it?
Don't tell her that this is happening. And it'll be our little test. Like, hey, tell her, hey, Ash, I was on this podcast. Listen to it. And she's like, oh, yeah, I'll do it fine. Yeah, it was great. We'll see if she's lying or not. It's a little test.
See, an example of Steven being manipulative.
Mm-hmm.
It's not manipulative. That's
it's pretty
strategic.
It goes hand in hand. But it's okay. You do it so well.
Oh.
Yeah.
Would either of you guys have changed anything about the proposal?
No. Like I said before, I never fantasized how I would be proposed to. Like I said, I never thought I would even get married before I met Steven. So I never had that idea in my head, which made it a better experience in the long run because I could enjoy it more because I didn't have...
Steven is fake crying.
Yeah.
I'm not fake crying. I'm just thinking.
He's acting like I'm a puppet.
I'm doing the hand puppet thing. She's just rambling on.
Oh, I was trying to make a joke out of you. Like,
yeah.
I knew what you were doing.
I'm trying to think of a way I can implement Space Jam into a proposal. Because that's what I would change.
I wasn't finished.
Oh,
no, I wouldn't change anything because it was nice. And how you and I are and just our relationship, it fits. It works.
What if a winning lottery ticket happened to blow into your hand at that point in the wind? You wouldn't change that? You wouldn't add that to the story?
That's not really part of the...
If you can change... The question is, if you can change anything about the proposal, what would you change?
Would I want a $20 million, ticket to phone?
That also...
Yes, but I would still want to be married to you.
Okay, but mid-proposal... A winning lottery ticket blows in your hand. That's different.
That also wasn't the intention of the question. Like
he always jumps to big extremes like that. Like a dinosaur terrorizing the earth.
Why would you want that in a proposal?
Your thoughts.
Why would you want a terrorizing dinosaur in the proposal?
I don't, but
I'm
just
trying to get some money. You're thinking of
examples.
destruction. That's a big difference between me and you. I'm optimistic.
What?
No.
You're not
no, you're
optimistic
not.
at Oh, you were the
No.
most pessimistic Polly I've ever met in my life, and I love you, but
Ooh, pessimistic Polly.
yeah,
That's a good nickname.
yeah. I'm the puppy dog.
Marvelous.
You're the kitty cat. I'm the happy-go-lucky puppy
Oh,
dog.
man.
Anyways,
That's what I'm here for, to bring this off the rails.
Yeah. Jake, you want to plug your Twitter? You don't tweet much.
No. I'm boring.
Alexa,
I just get in high-speed chases.
That's fine. Alexa, you want to plug anything?
I don't get on Twitter that much either, but
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Well, give us a rating on... Follow Fancy Friendship on Facebook. Give us a rating. Be honest. Let us know we can do better. We're new at this. Thank you for listening.